Also, since Celeste is not going to be here, could we get a volunteer to be the timekeeper tonight? It might seem a bit daunting. It's not. It's literally just when someone starts talking, you look at your watch, jot it down, and then at the end of the meeting or tomorrow or whenever you get a chance, you can just send me an email letting us know how we did on time.
Sure.
Did someone say yes? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said sure. Just can you tell me what I have to do again?
Oh, yeah. Literally just when someone starts talking, look at your watch, jot down the time, and then just keep a log. You don't have to like take notes or anything like that, but it's literally just tracking time for each category. That would be helpful.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Who is that, Brian? Was that Brian who said yes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yes, this is Brian. This is Brian.
Thanks.
Daryl, we can start whenever you say so, and I can make the roll call.
Okay, let's go ahead and start. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start with attendance today. I'll start. Well, I am here, and then I'll ask Daryl.
I'm here.
Eddie.
I'm here.
Albert.
Here.
Al-Shareik. Al-Shareik, yeah, well, I can see her, sorry. I assume she's here. Jerry. Gerardo. I think that he's not joining us today. Mayura.
Here.
Nathan. I think that he's not here yet. Celeste is not here yet. Amanda.
Here, Fernando.
Brian Robinson. Well, I see Ryan, so. Okay, I think that we have a quorum, so we can start.
All right, thank you, Fernando. So we're calling our October 7th board meeting for Lamb Public Charter School to order. All right, let's continue with the approval of last month's minutes. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about or comments about the minutes? Any corrections? Okay, if not, could we get a motion to approve those minutes?
I motion.
Oh, second.
Thank you. Anyone opposed? All right, so that motion passes. Let's go ahead and approve the agenda for today. Does anyone have any changes to the current agenda? All right, if not, we'll move forward. And then thank you again, Brian, for agreeing to be timekeeper tonight. Jessica, you want to go ahead and get us started with the acknowledgement of Hispanic Latino Heritage Month?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's nice to see all of you. Thank you. We have a small surprise for you right now. As you know, it's Latino Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have a very short little video clip that Chris is magically going to help play that has some of our staff and students saying why Hispanic Latino Heritage Month is important to them.
What does Latin culture mean to you?
Photos and chicken nuggets and Machu Picchu.
¿Qué significa mes de herencia de la cultura latina para usted?
Yo creo que es muy interesante y es diferente de la cultura de América.
What does Latin culture mean to you?
Food, clothes, and I like the dancing. I've been to Mexico one time, and I tried lots of different kinds of Mexican food there. And then we also saw people with different clothes. And I also just like speaking Spanish because I think it's a fun language to learn.
¿Qué significa la cultura latina para usted?
Tradiciones, costumbres arraigadas de nuestros países.
What does Spanish culture mean to you?
It's about like the music, the food, and like the festivals, and I really like when like we celebrate our culture.
¿Qué representa mes de herencia latina para usted?
En LAN ahora estamos celebrando el mes de la herencia hispana con diferentes actividades. La herencia hispana es nuestra cultura, nuestros ancestros, nuestro idioma, nuestra gente, y estamos muy felices de celebrar en todas las comunidades. Estamos celebrando con diferentes actividades la herencia hispana.
What does Latin culture mean to you?
Latin culture to me is really about community, love, experience, and I have fond memories of being a student here at LAM and seeing all the different cultures coming through with beautiful dresses and food, and it was just, it's an amazing experience for me.
For Hispanic Heritage Month, what I like about Hispanic Heritage Month is the dressing, not the salad kind, and the dancing and the food tasting. Yeah.
¿Qué significa la cultura latina para usted?
Para mí se siente como puedo aprender más de donde mi familia es y puedo cocinar cosas que ellos hacen mucho tiempo atrás y aprendo más de ellos en una manera y puedo entender más, puedo hablar español, entender más personas, celebramos muchas cosas y a mí me gusta celebrar cosas. Y puedo aprender de mis padres, ellos me dicen mucho y me gusta eso porque me gusta aprender de otras culturas y de otras personas y cocinar. A mí me gusta cocinar, entonces cocino. Estoy aprendiendo cómo hacer pupusas y empanadas que yo hago con mi abuela.
Just wanted to bring you a little bit of the joy that we get to have every day with students and staff. And yes, it is a really wonderful month celebrating lots of different activities and events happening this month inside and outside the community. And we'll culminate with our big day on October 18th, where we invite everyone to come in traditional dress or dress that honors or signifies a culture or country that they would like to celebrate. So I want to thank Chris. I want to thank Sebastian for all of our students and staff who were willing to be interviewed and put on there. And believe you me, the hardest part was selecting just those few. So thank you, everyone. All right. I'm happy to roll into my executive director report if that sounds good, Daryl, unless you wanted to.
I think that before starting, maybe this message to the community that we usually give, Jessica. So I will just give a brief a message to the community. As always, I will do it in Spanish. So you can switch now to the translator channel if necessary. So este es un mensaje de la comunidad. Esencialmente recordando que las reuniones de la Junta están abiertas al público y que se anima a la comunidad a participar en ellas de forma virtual. Las reuniones también se graban y están disponibles en el sitio web de LAMP. La Junta Directiva agradece los comentarios y aportes de la comunidad y durante la reunión de la Junta Directiva de hoy día lunes se invita a los participantes a escribir preguntas y o comentarios para la Junta Directiva. Aunque la Junta no podrá responder directamente durante la reunión, en el plazo de 2 semanas publicaremos las respuestas a las preguntas y un resumen de la información en el sitio web de LAMP. También se anima al personal, a staff y a las familias que se pongan en contacto directamente con el personal de LAMP para que les ayuden con cualquier pregunta o les hagan llegar sus comentarios y opiniones. That's everything, and back to Jessica.
Thank you, Fernando. Chris, if you can do your magic and pull up my presentation, I'd be happy to roll into my executive director report. Great, there it is. Look at that. Well, again, good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Panfil. I'm lucky enough to be the executive director of Lamb Public Charter School. I'm happy to give this report. We'll go to the next slide. We just wanted to again honor that this is a Latino and Hispanic Heritage Month, and I will be giving every board of directors meeting. I wanted to give an update on our strategic plan pillars, on where we are and where we've progressed and where we would like to go, as well as there'll be a focus for one of the 4 areas that are priorities this year. And for this meeting, I would really like to focus on our before and after care school enrichment program, or as we affectionately call it, BASE. Just wanted to again share that, of course, Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month is particularly important to LAM, as our mission is to be a bilingual Montessori community rooted in Latin American culture in which all students thrive. And for this month, it feels like we are really celebrating all that is LAM, inviting those in to learn more about Latin American culture and participate and learn more about each student's culture. So these are 3 strategic plan pillars: academic excellence, diversity, equity, inclusion, and rebuilding the community. Under each of these strategic plan pillars, we have 3 goals. And so I'll be briefly addressing where we have moved forward under each of these pillars and then for each goal. Under academic excellence, the first goal is to have excellent teaching, and that includes recruiting, retaining, and developing an excellent and highly qualified teaching staff. We're in the beginning of October and we're super pleased to be 96% staffed with our academic team. It's 102 staff members. I want to thank Miss Alex, Mr. Ted for their work to make sure that every community has 2 Montessori trained teachers, both either an English and a Spanish speaking teacher. And the positions that we are working to fill here at the end are 3 staff positions in the student support team. We are actively interviewing folks, and we hope to have those filled very soon. The great thing of where we are with staffing is that we have enough staffing that we're able to cover those holes, but we would like to complete and be 100% staffed next time you hear from us. One initiative that's really important to us at LAM is to make sure that our staff has opportunities to grow and develop and learn new skills. So specifically for the academic team, these are the areas that we're focusing this year for professional learning. The same as last year, we are deeply focused on developing our skills in best instructional practices for dual language and literacy in 2 languages. If you recall, for those of you who were on the board last year, we partnered with the Canizales group. We're very lucky to be working with them. They're a highly respected partner in dual language instruction, and they are continuing their partnership with us this year. They are not only able to present to our staff bilingually, which is really important for our staff, they also have really begun to understand what it means to be a Montessori school and align the ways that they're supporting and coaching our teaching within a Montessori philosophy and framework. We're also developing points along the year about best instructional practices. So this Friday, we have an all-day professional learning. We will be in part working with the Canisales group and having opportunities for teachers to learn from them, as well as receiving training in Ukuru, which is a trauma-informed approach to working with students. And I think this is something that LAM is excited to be working and understanding better how we can reach and support every student. In addition, we have an initiative this school year that we're affectionately calling Teachers as Experts. I want to highlight Miss Alex and her leadership as principal. We know that we have many teachers who have incredible skills and knowledge that we would like to give the opportunity to share and learn from their colleagues. So on our early release professional learning, we have a series in which teachers can engage in small groups and share best practices or where they have learned by attending conferences or other experiences so that we can kind of spread the knowledge throughout the school. And then finally, we are supporting teachers and staff to attend Montessori conferences. We're especially proud that Miss Alex, our principal, is presenting about LAM in Bogota, Colombia this week, and also learning from many other administrative colleagues there. And we look forward to hearing all that she has learned and brings back to us. In addition, the Virginia Montessori Association is having a conference in Manassas, and we are offering for our staff to attend that free of charge. And we have, I believe, almost 20 staff members who've signed up on a Saturday to attend and learn at that Montessori conference. We're encouraging our staff to apply for individual grants for professional learning so that LAM is a place where, you know, we can really be on the cutting edge of what it means to be a dual language Montessori school. The next goal under academic excellence is around our bilingual curriculum and assessment. These are our DC CAPE scores, a snapshot. We've shared these with the community. These are scores from last spring. They were released this fall. And what you're seeing here is that LAM is outperforming our peers in DC across grade level and in ELA and math. DC CAPE is just one assessment and one snapshot of how we look at our students achieving. We also use the NWEA MAP growth assessments. Our students take this 3 times a year. It helps us track their progress and their achievement in math and then in English and in Spanish. Most of our students are finishing their testing this year, and we will turn around and use that data with our teachers to really pinpoint areas where we want our students to grow and learn. And before we go to this one, Chris, I would say overall, I really want to share, and our school performance committee will be sharing out more, but this is our first year implementing our scope and sequence. That was work that was done last year. And we're really looking forward this year to kind of mapping out how teaching along our scope and sequence with where our students are showing that they're learning to kind of see what we need to, adjustments we might need to make along our scope and sequence, as well as providing individual support for students. And then our third goal under academic excellence is about all children thriving. And what I wanted to share is that LAM has begun the process of digging into our data and looking at it through different lenses. So sorry, this looks a little blurry here, but this snapshot was also shared previously with the LAM community. What it shows is our DC CAPE data split up by subgroups. So for here, we have economically disadvantaged students with disabilities and our English learners. You can see that over time, our subpopulations in this area have shown growth in terms of their achievement. However, they are not achieving at the same level of all students, and that is a persistent gap that we are committed to digging into and looking at how we're providing tiered levels of instructional support to make sure that all of our students are achieving. And this next slide similarly shows our data through a race and ethnicity lens. The bar on the right shows the latest scores, so you'll see that most of the growth goes up. However, there are areas that we saw a dip. And again, we continue to see that our subpopulations are not achieving at the same rate as all of our students. And we want to dig into this data to see what action steps we need to take as a school to ensure that all of our students are achieving. That's a quick snapshot of academic excellence. I know our school performance committee will be reporting out, and I'm happy to answer any further questions on that. Our second strategic plan pillar is cultivating community and celebrating diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is an area that I believe both inside and outside LAM, there's a deep commitment to this work. And transparently, we have work to do. And so I invite all of us to embark on this next journey. Steps that have happened is that I want to recognize our parent-teacher organization and really leadership in our parent community that's created a DEI committee, both to lead cultural heritage celebrations, but also importantly to support and develop affinity groups and serve as a voice and leader for diversity, inclusivity, and equity. We are in the process internally of supporting a DEI-focused staff committee with our department, or with our Director of Human Resources, who has developed a plan to reach out, support, provide time, space, and allocation for leadership inside of LAM. And this year, we're centering our goals around creating a DEI task force so that we can identify a partner organization or a framework that LAM can really use to guide ourselves in this work, and identify an organization that could provide a regular survey of both staff and climate so we can have baseline data as well as measure our progress and where we want to grow with this. And then our third strategic plan pillar is rebuilding community. We have spent a lot of work thinking about the activities and events that we plan throughout the year, both in partnership with our staff and our family services team, but also with our parent-teacher organization. We've had a number of events that are both trying to balance in-person as well as virtual events to make sure that we are providing equitable access for families, and trying to enhance our communication and make it straightforward, easy for families to understand what's happening at LAM, and leaning into our values as an organization, especially as a Montessori school, really believing that the work that we're doing is work to build a more peaceful community. And that's starting out by our grace and courtesy lessons with our 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, all the way up through, how we interact internally with each other as colleagues, and then externally with our families in the larger community. So I think we've been in school, I don't know, I didn't count, 5 or 6 weeks, but we're just here at the beginning. You can feel the rhythms and routines of the school in place. We've already had a number of different events since the children are back in the building, including 2 back-to-school nights where we had families in the building seeing classrooms. We had a virtual community charla that was well attended that our academic team put together. It was a bit of an orientation to what Montessori is, the importance of attendance and how to interact and support your child as they are developing and learning. And then with our PTO, they've hosted a classroom parent gathering. I want to recognize that we are able to do so much at LAM in large part to our family involvement. And so we have parents who organize our snack calendar, who really partner with our teachers and make sure they have what they need. We had an open meeting with the PTO And we've also established monthly PTO leadership meetings so that our PTO board is able to meet with myself, Miss Alex, the principal, Miss Cloudy, the director of family services, and Sabina, our family services coordinator, just so that we can facilitate communication, collaborate, and coordinate across events and ways that we support families. And then I hope that many of you had the chance to participate and enjoy the Fall Festival. So as I mentioned, we have 4 priorities this year for LAM in addition to meeting the goals of our strategic plan pillars. This meeting, I'm hoping to have a conversation with everyone a little bit about our base models. But we are mindful that Aspire is the new framework for DCP-CSB, and we're doing work to understand and align our data to match the Aspire framework, as well as thinking ahead about how we want to use our building next school year and beyond. And the 4th goal is really thinking about how we strengthen LAM for the next 20 years. So I will slow down a little bit. Where we really want to focus is around our before after school enrichment models. When I came on board as executive director in April of last year, I spent a lot of time listening to staff and families, the board and stakeholders, and how LAM was working through their before and after school enrichment model. We recognized that there was a gap from what families were wishing and desiring into what LAM was currently able to offer. And we decided that this would be an important priority to focus on in the fall. So this board meeting, we're hoping to review some different ways that we are evaluating what LAM can do, the process for how do we provide before and after care. So internally, we are gathering data from operations, finance, human resources, and of course from our base team. As well as externally, we're gathering information from our PTO leadership. I'm hosting a cafecito con la directora for open feedback with our families. And we're looking at putting all of these together to better understand the factors impacting the base program. At our next board meeting on November 18th, we hope to bring forward, with the help of our Operations and Finance Committee, our findings and some recommended models and next steps for BASE. So some of the things that we have already heard and that we know is that there is a tremendous need for before and after care based on our wait list and community feedback. Currently, we're serving of over 300 students, and we know that we've had wish or a desire to be able to serve to almost as close as 400 students last year, as well as this year we're short about 75 seats for being able to offer. We also know, in addition to participating in a before and after care program, there is a desire from families in the community to have their children participate in enrichment classes, programs after school. And that is for students who are already enrolled in our base program, as well as students who are not. And one of the areas in talking with the PTO leadership is also evaluating the capacity of LAM to offer after school programming, whether that's chess or soccer or yoga, whatever those might be, and whether that would be through BASE, whether that would be through an outside provider, or whether that would actually be through LAM staff in another capacity. Some of the considerations that we know that we need to really dig into, and we've started that process, is thinking about how we staff the before and after care program. We have the challenges of having full-time and part-time staff, as well as there's just the space considerations, where we have space on campus, both inside and outside, the kind of administrative support that needs to happen for aftercare, with most of our administrative staff leaving at 4:15. What does that look like from 4:15 to 6? A financial lens. Right now, BASE has been essentially revenue neutral, looking at, you know, what would be the financial impact on the organization. And then, of course, programming, the ways that we might partner with other organizations. Currently, right now, we know that we have about 50 students who participate in other providers for after-school programs. So are there partnerships or other areas where we might develop a way to support our students for the aftercare programming? So those are all some of the considerations that we're doing. I know we'll dig in a little bit more, I think, when the operations committee talks. But again, I'm happy to answer any questions. And really, this is the work that we're doing behind the scenes so that we can come to you all with your feedback and your guidance about, you know, where we want to go with our before and after care and enrichment programs. So that is a quick update. I want to thank the board. I really want to thank the amazing staff at LAM for launching a terrific school year. Our teachers and our academic team is working hard to have students be engaged, having fun, safe. We're grateful to our operations and our family services team and the behind the scenes support team that make the work happen seamlessly, and it wouldn't happen with a whole team of people. So I want to represent them well. They've been doing an amazing job, and we're very excited for this school year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you to the LAM staff members who you just acknowledged. Does anyone have any, well, let me just clarify. If any community members who are not board members have questions or comments for Jessica, you can put those in the chat. If there are any board members who have questions or comments for Jessica, feel free to take yourself off mute and either ask them or say them. Thank you. All right, so we'll keep it moving then. So let's start off with committee reports. We'll start off with the finance committee. Oh, Fernando, you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
I'm sorry?
You had your hand up just now?
Oh, no,
like
no.
No, okay, sorry. All right. Let's start off with the finance committee.
Jerry still has not signed on, has he? In which case I'll go ahead and jump in with a quick finance overview. Committee did meet and reviewed the year-to-date financials through August. That financial dashboard has been shared with the board. Biggest note I would say is numbers are positive through August, but it's only 2 months, summer months. Don't put too much into it. A couple of things that in particular can skew you mentally is it shows a tremendous bottom line. Under generally accepted accounting principles, while we pay our 10-month staff, which is most of our staff, year round, we accrue their salaries on a 10-month basis. So their salaries are not reflected in July and August, resulting in less than normal expenses. They do kick in September, late August, actually, September. So just understand that and don't let yourself get skewed by that very positive bottom line through August. The other thing in comparing the 2 years, just to highlight, particularly as it relates to cash flow, fiscal 24, we received the DC teacher compensation grant as funding to equivalent funding to what DC provided DCPS when the WTU agreement was agreed to. That was funded on its own basis, different than we normally receive funding. For fiscal 25, those funds have been rolled into the per pupil funding. And simply because of the differences in how the two are treated, our cash flow as of end of August is much higher than it was a year ago. Again, bottom line, end of the year, it's all going to wash out and equal. I'm grateful to have extra cash for a temporary basis, but just recognize, again, temporary, very positive numbers. Don't get overly comfortable with them, but the overall financial picture is positive. Couple other things I will share just for awareness in keeping track that everything is positive. We're into a heavy monitoring period right now. Our annual financial audit for fiscal 24 actually officially began today, and fully expect as required that will be wrapped up in the coming weeks so that we can have a final report to submit to PCSB in early mid-December, as well as to our bond trustee. We also have coming up very shortly a periodic ratings review with S&P, this being in conjunction with our bonds. So we're pulling together information to help them evaluate our bonds. I will just make real brief note of some news regarding the annual financial audit. Not only did it start today, but we got news today that effective January 1 of 25, our auditing firm of the last couple of years is being acquired by another firm. Technically, it doesn't affect the 24 audit. I am reaching out to PCSB to confirm what our options are or aren't as we move forward with fiscal 25, given that any audit firm of a charter school must be approved by PCSB. These are things we will take into discussion with the Finance Committee and report back to the full board at appropriate time. Just wanted to let you know that we do have this change on the horizon. We'll also be talking with the Finance Committee regarding the audit of our 401k plan. That does not require PCSB approval. So we've got a little bit more flexibility there. Just want to make sure that everybody who needs to be is on board and in agreement as to how we move forward with that. Finance Committee, as Jessica already alluded to, along with Operations Committee, spent a good bit of time talking about the base modeling. I don't think I need to go any further detail on that at this point. So I believe, unless there are finance questions, that handles Finance Committee report for this month.
Does anyone have any questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian, for your report. All right, Governance Committee.
Thank you, Daryl. I actually wanted to start by introducing two new members of the board. I believe you all heard a little bit about them when we were voting them on, but it's really just a pleasure to have them here in person and very humbling to have two such talented people joining the LAM board. As a brief reminder, we have both Sarah and Serena joining us. Sarah Grebo brings a significant prior experience to LAM in fundraising. This is exactly the capability that we knew we wanted to add to the board, and it was just a true delight to find somebody like Sarah with so much passion and such extensive experience with public education and on boards of directors. Personally, I think it was her genuine concern and joy that she takes in contributing to the communities that she's part of that made every single one of us on the governance committee who spoke to her just thrilled to have her with us. So welcome, Sarah. We are so pleased.
Thank you.
And Serena, it just keeps we just feel like this, the board members are gifts that keep on giving. So Serena joins us with extensive experience in the with the DC public school system, and previously as a director in ombudsman for DC public education. So it's a set of critical skills to actually understand this ecosystem that we're all operating in, ones we have been sorely missing. She is also a lawyer, which she might try to keep a bit of a secret on her resume, but I found you out and I'm so glad not to be alone anymore, Serena. So I know where you are now. I found you. I'm so happy to have you with us. And I was personally really delighted as we went through the interview process and spoke with you about the really nuanced and strategic ways you think about organizations and institutions. I think that's going to be a tremendous asset in the year ahead. So thank you both for choosing to join us. I hope the experience is a real delight. I know you will help us tremendously, and I'm sure you'll help the LAM community tremendously as well. So it's great to have you with us. That is most of the thunder of the governance committee update. We have been doing work thinking about, in particular, our sort of theme in the last month has been around the relationship of the board to other board members, the relationship of board to staff, the relationship of board to the broader community. And as you guys are all aware, we have had board members all sign agreements. And we have decided we want to engage in a longer reflection, in particular on opportunities for board to engage with staff in the right kind of venues. In terms of board engagement with the broader community, we're going to be looking to have a sort of more formal process for sign up for participation and engagement at various on-site events with LAM throughout the year. So there'll be sort of coming attractions around that. And all of this was really just warm up governance conversations for the aspiration we all have to refresh our bylaws in the coming months. So as if board agreements weren't exciting enough, we have even more fun with bylaw redrafting in the days ahead. So thank you for that. Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you, Amanda. And put this in the chat, but welcome again to Sarah and Serena. Many of us had an opportunity to meet and engage with both of you during our recent retreat. And I can say, I'm sure others agree, that we are super excited to have both of you as members of our board. Not to put you all on the spot, but if you wanted to share something, you're more than welcome to. We'll open this up, but no pressure. Okay, we'll keep moving. All right, operations.
Thank you, Daryl. I think I'm going to ask Jessica to jump back in, if you don't mind, Jessica, to expand on your already awesome presentation at the top around BASE.
Sure, I'd be happy to, but I also know Fernando, I don't know, I will check to see if he wants to talk, because he said he might jump in, but I don't want to steal Fernando's thunder. But I'm happy to jump in, Fernando.
It's essentially, as said by Eddie. I mean, you actually, I mean, can expand it. What I can offer is, as last time, I just to blend things a little bit, I can go through the slides and in Spanish, so we can add a little bit more of diversity of language to our meeting. So I can do that. So let's jump in.
Wonderful, thank you.
But no problem. So, en esta presentación del Comité de Operaciones, acá, como comentaba Jessica, bueno, vamos a ver sobre BASE en un momento, que es esencialmente uno de los puntos centrales, pero primero una actualización de lo que es el comité, el área de operaciones. Acá podemos ver el equipo de operaciones, sí. El equipo de operaciones de LAM, que está a cargo de varias responsabilidades fundamentales para la escuela, organizadas en áreas específicas, como seguridad, que incluye simulacros de emergencia, gestión de tráfico, código de seguridad, inspecciones y certificaciones, supervisión del edificio de la escuela, que abarca mantenimiento y reparaciones, gestión de eventos escolares, inspecciones de rutina y recomendaciones para los interiores, el departamento de enfermería, que maneja cuestiones médicas, administración de medicamentos y coberturas en excursiones, y compras, que se enfocan en adquirir los materiales Montessori, presupuestos de aulas y necesidades generales del edificio. Y recepción, que atiende llegadas, salidas y notas de salud, entre otros servicios. And the next slide acá tenemos, I don't think that we are presenting the slides. Can we present or are we?
We're not presenting them, but I will work on the background to get that done, Fernando.
Okay, no problem. Ok, bueno, también queríamos hablar del equipo de operaciones de LAMP, que como saben, está dirigido por Juan Alfaro, que es el director de operaciones, y también tenemos a Gina Quintero como coordinadora, Sara Sanabria como asistente, Cassandra Santa Cruz como asistente administrativa, Jacobo Amador como recepcionista, y otros colaboradores de áreas como mantenimiento y recepción. Am, eh, Luego queremos hablar un poco del estado de seguridad y mantenimiento en la escuela. El equipo de operaciones tiene programados simulacros de emergencia y además gestionar permisos de construcción. Actualmente hay 28 solicitudes de reparación en curso. Además, se han atendido 2 emergencias recientes en el campo de fútbol fuera de horario de clases. En lo que respecta a salud y eventos, hay 27 estudiantes con vacunas pendientes y hasta la fecha se han solicitado más de 4.000 almuerzos escolares y hay 5 excursiones planificadas para el mes de octubre. Eh, Entre desafíos y futuras consideraciones para infraestructura, tenemos el mantenimiento del área de juegos, la necesidad de luz externa y los problemas de inundaciones en el sótano. A futuro se propone renovar el estacionamiento y las señales de tráfico, así como otras mejoras deseadas o planeadas, como la renovación de la cancha de baloncesto. Y el último slide, vemos cuáles han sido los logros del mes. A destacar, los nuevos toldos en los patios de recreo, la reparación de la entrada principal, la implementación de un nuevo formulario de compras. Eso sería esencialmente la actualización por parte del comité de operaciones. I'm going to go back to you, Jessica. I know that we have some considerations to talk about the base evaluation. I don't know if you want to go through it or I can just keep on discussing that. I'm okay with both.
Up to you, Fernando, if you want to talk and I'm add in. Thank you.
Okay. Como mencionaba Jessica hace un momento, hay algunas consideraciones para modelar el programa BASE de LAMP. Como introducción, el programa como introducción, como contexto, BASE ofrece un ambiente seguro y enriquecedor antes y después del horario de clases. Existen preguntas importantes que el equipo se plantea para medir el impacto del programa en el desempeño académico, de la retención de estudiantes y de su papel como punto de entrada laboral para el personal de LAMP. Sobre el uso del espacio interno y externo, el programa BASE se enfrenta a limitaciones de espacios en las mañanas y utiliza varias aulas y espacios multifuncionales por la tarde. La falta de luz en áreas externas afecta las actividades durante noviembre a marzo, que es cuando anochece más temprano. En el tema de recursos humanos, el equipo de BASE tiene actualmente 33 posiciones, de las cuales 26 están activas y 5 están vacantes. Desde mayo de 2024 se han recibido 120 solicitudes de empleo, con un tiempo promedio de contratación de 61 días y una retención promedio de 7 meses y 10 días. En cuanto a consideraciones financieras, se están revisando las tasas de matrícula y los descuentos, incluyendo becas para estudiantes en situación de riesgo. El equipo está analizando la competitividad de los salarios de base de BASE en comparación con otros programas locales. En lo que es en sí el programa, la programación y enriquecimiento del programa en sí, este ofrece actividades como fútbol, yoga, guitarra, círculos de paz para promover habilidades sociales y resolución de conflictos. También se están proponiendo futuras actividades como ajedrez, educación financiera y talleres de cocina. En lo respectivo a cultura y normas de personal, se está buscando construir una cultura de expectativas comunes en el personal, con capacitación continua en gestión de aulas, prácticas Montessori y resolución de conflictos. Se refuerza la idea de una sola unidad de LAMP para fortalecer el sentido de comunidad. And I hope that, Jessica, that I capture most of these considerations. I think that I went a little too fast on that, but the idea, I think that was just to reiterate once again that yes, the clear assessment of base is very much front and center for the operations committee and for the board of directors in general.
Gracias, Fernando. Te agradezco. Thank you to Fernando. I did share the Google Doc there for you all to look. It's really just a rough working document that the Operations Committee is looking at the different considerations at base and kind of the summary that Fernando gave and the work that we have for us ahead of us for the next few weeks. And I'm happy to answer any questions or I'll throw Fernando in the hot seat again.
I don't see questions in the chat room, so I think that we can go back to Daryl. I don't know if there's gonna be an update from SPC today. If not, well, anyway, back to you, Daryl.
Thanks, Fernando. School Performance Committee, zero report.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Sorry. Yeah, so we've been working on a few things on SPC, so bear with me. I'll first talk about our priorities for the 2024-2025 school year. First, as Jessica mentioned earlier, so better understand the Aspire framework and what it means for LAM. As you all know or may know, the DCPCSB has adopted the Aspire framework to replace the performance management framework. And there are some pretty substantial changes to the way that DCPCSB will be evaluating the schools, charter schools in the city, going from a 3-tier system to a 5-tier system, and really evaluating on measuring school growth and achievement, school culture and climate, and environments, and school-specific metrics. And so we are just trying to better understand one, what that will look like for LAM, especially given the uniqueness of LAM, being not just not a traditional school, in the sense of being both a bilingual and a Montessori school. So understanding where there may be gaps between the Aspire framework and how they're measuring and valuing school performance and the LAM framework and the scope and sequence, and seeing where we may need to kind of plug in those gaps. So developing a new framework for academic evaluation is our second priority, as well as, and a third priority, sorry, is focused on staffing, and so maintaining a strong oversight of staff retention, staff culture, and other key metrics related to staff and evaluation. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Fourth priority is creating and maintaining strong oversight of family engagement metrics. So how we're engaging families, such as the fall festival, PTO engagement that, we just had the first PTO meeting of the year this past week, actually, that Fernando and I had the opportunity to attend. So it's great to see that and see a pretty decent, what I thought to be decent turnout for the first meeting of the year. And then finally, cross-cutting goal of focus on student enrollment. And so those are our 5 priorities for the year. And then we've also been working with with leadership on the academic excellence pillar, developing some smart metrics around those goals. So we really focused on the first two goals so far. And so the first goal is around says that teachers at all grade levels in both Montessori and special education settings will meet LAM's standards for high quality teachers. And so our focus or our metric rather for that goal is around developing a performance evaluation structure for instruction. So when we say, teachers should be high quality, what does it mean to be a high quality teacher at LAM? And how do we evaluate that in a way that is objective and can be consistently applied across all staff members at LAM. And then the second goal that LAM's Montessori bilingual curriculum prepares children for middle school, high school, college, and beyond, and is implemented to fidelity in every classroom, is around regularly reviewing, reflecting, and planning planning around data. And so these metrics aren't smart yet, but we are working with leadership to make them smart. Yeah, I think that's all we have. Did I miss anything, Jessica?
Yeah, the team's been working really hard. It's a lot. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Does anyone have any questions for Brian and the School Performance Committee? All right, people are very quiet today. I get the impression that folks might want to go outside and enjoy the rest of the day since it's so nice. Okay, we'll keep moving. This might be a record. We might wrap up in like an hour's time. So here's my favorite part of the meeting. It's for the love of LAM. And Serena and Sarah, I know you're new to the board, new to LAM. During this part, actually, we did this at the retreat, so you know how this goes. If anyone wants to share any and, well, I was gonna say any and everything, but that would be a very long meeting to share everything. But if anyone wants to share one thing or maybe a couple things that you love about LAM, something that may have happened recently or that's come to mind, we'll open that space up now.
Yeah, I'm happy to go. As I mentioned, Fernando and I attended the first PTO meeting, and I've worked at a number of schools and been to a number of schools, and that was probably the biggest turnout that I'd seen for a PTO meeting. It was pretty decent size. Must have been at least 20-ish parents there, maybe more. And all of the activities and things that they are planning to do with families, for families, throughout the year seems really, really exciting. And since it's my first year with LAM on the board, just good to see and excited to see, and can't wait to see how they turn out throughout the year.
Thanks, Brian. And thank you also for attending. It was you and who else? I can't remember. Fernando, yes. Thank you, Fernando, you as well. Were there any board members who got a chance to attend Fall Festival who might want to share? Amanda? Would you mind? I know you're a parent also, but would you mind sharing your experience?
Yeah,
and
no.
Eddie, sorry, I saw your hand, Eddie, so you're up next.
Yeah. So it was wonderful. I mean, I've yet to be to an event for the community at LAM that wasn't just a delight. And this one had all the typical goodies of very fabulous tunes, really quite amazing bounce house infrastructure, all kinds of goodies to eat, both free and pay for stuff. and a really fantastic turnout. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I was also really pleased not to see a huge number of the teachers there. Not because it isn't always wonderful to get to see them, but I'm glad that we don't, in any way make people feel like they need to give up their weekends. But we did see a number of members of the administration, which was lovely. And generally it was just a great community vibe. So thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
I also just wanted to share that I was at the Fall Festival and met a lot of really amazing families, and brought my own children and my own husband, and realized that we have friends whose kids are at Lamb. And then actually just today, one of I guess my office mates, we met just a few weeks ago at the office, and he brought his family into work to see his new office space. And I just said, your wife and your kids look so familiar. Where have I seen you before? And he said, maybe school, Lamb? And I said, that's it. We actually met at the Fall Festival. So it feels wonderful to actually feel like I'm already a part of the Lamb community, and just to see how vast the community is in the city.
Thank you, Serena.
Daryl, I just wanted to give thanks this week for the operations committee, who boldly handled everything so well. I was out of the country and couldn't join our last meeting, and clearly I am more irrelevant than ever because the update was amazing, and Fernando and Jessica and the entire operations committee are doing a great job. I'm really excited about our exploration of the data, numbers, and use cases for after school support. And it's going to be a process, maybe a multi-year process, but I'm excited about the work and so thankful for that update this week to see that so much progress continues to be made.
Thanks, Eddie. Sarah, is that you with your hand up? Okay. We're just so you know, we're informal. You all don't have to put your hands up. Just jump in.
Oh, well, I really appreciated Jessica giving me a tour this morning of Lamb, and getting to see and even meet some students and faculty and staff, and just seeing the joy and the engagement of the community. It's a beautiful space, and even more of a beautiful learning community. And I really appreciate the very warm welcome and the opportunity to learn more about the school.
Thanks, Sarah.
I do want to add on, and I was really grateful for Sarah to come visit us. I did have to kind of do a tug of war with the student, where I had to let the student know that I needed Sarah back, and we needed to keep moving along.
The passion, you could tell students were excited about their individual work that they were doing, and one student just could not stop talking and telling me about all parts of her classroom and her whole Lamb experience. It was amazing. It was beautiful. But that's correct. Jessica did have to make sure she got me back.
Anyone else? All right. Well, according to my the clock on my laptop, it's 6:35, which means that we're wrapping up in an hour. Sarah and Serena, we talked about this during the retreat, but there were days not too long ago, there were meetings not too long ago where we would be on these calls for 2+ hours, sometimes 3 hours. So that's why we're so excited, if you're wondering, to have a 1-hour meeting. If there's nothing else, then we get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right. Anyone opposed? All right. Well, have a good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can still catch a little sunshine and warm weather. Thank you, Jessica, for everything you're doing and your team. And I know Alex is traveling, so please give her our traveling, our best regards and best wishes with traveling as well. And take care, everyone. See you at the next meeting, if not before then.
Thanks, Daryl. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.